Alrighty, I'm going to call to order the, what is today? February 12th Urban Experience Committee meeting. To start off with, do we have an motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Mr. Chair, there's actually no minutes in
Oh,
this packet
no.
this month.
Okay. It does say that in the
Both of those
packet.
next.
Just skipped it.
I withdraw
Oh,
my motion.
All right, then moving right along, we'll head to the monthly permit update report with Steve McDonald, who does not look like he's here. Looks like Tammy's going to do it instead.
Steve is at Rotary right now doing a presentation, so I'm going to take over this, and probably you will see me doing these reports from now on.
Great.
So bear with me.
Tammy, try pointing it this way. No.
It worked earlier. I'm serious.
Okay. Might,
Okay. 2023 set a bunch of new records this year, which, was kind of exciting. 4 of them in residential. So we had the most residential units permitted in a year at 1340. We had the most residential units permitted in a month, and that was 358 in August. We had the most multifamily units permitted in a year, 984, which the previous high was only 506, so we did a really good job. And the most multifamily units permitted in a month, which again was that high number in August that we saw. The BOCA program probably helped us. It's the second highest number of duplexes ever permitted, 37 duplexes, adding 74 units, 640% increase over 22, which was our previous record for duplexes. Construction valuations were more than $500 million, so that's very exciting. It's only the 5th time the city's crossed that threshold. Other notable things in 2023, we were implementing a pilot program to provide photo inspections for roofs. We're going to be continuing to bring on additional roofing companies to do this, so it's more of a virtual inspection. We're going to be working this year to add electrical permits to that as well. So stay tuned. We're continuing to enhance the solar permitting process. We are actively working with our consultants to get Solar App Plus up and running. You've heard me talk about that before. So we did have a meeting this morning with our consultant to keep that going. We have the web group has created the web page already, so that's good. We're developing new processes, procedures, and system changes necessary for all of the incentive programs that our long-range planners and economic development and Steve are in charge of. So we've been, constantly going through additional incentives. We've, adopted new codes through BOCA and BOH. So, some of those were really big changes, and the last big changes to residential zoning was in 2006. So that takes our staff time to learn, but we're able to implement those without delays. All of the additional requests for information surrounding BOCA, all of the GFC amendments, a lot of those comments and questions came in through our permit team because they're the ones that actually charge those fees to developers. So we were able to handle a lot of those questions. We twice updated the transportation impact fee table last year. Short-term rentals had regulation changes, and the ADU fee waivers were still in place. Matt Boston helped us 2 Decembers ago to get funding for that. So we went back and were able to augment those offer refunds to people who accidentally paid that we didn't catch. So we're good on that now. We continue to add more and more online permitting. We worked with code enforcement for the rental registry program for long-term housing. And we are going to start reviewing demos for the new permitting system. So we put an RFP out last year in February and March, we're going to get demos from 7 different companies. So that will be really exciting. It's going to be a lengthy process, but we'll be able to implement things that we really want to be able to provide our customers with better service, to be able to provide data to council and the administration faster. So it's exciting. All right, on to the numbers. So this is what Steve always presented to you guys. So this is December year end. So in blue is the year end. So 2% increase over the prior 4-year average. And for December alone, it was a 5% increase over the average. And if you have a question, please stop me. January of 2024, so we're looking at a 13% increase over that. Just for the month of January, so over the year to date from previous. And for total construction permits issued, 2023, we were a 6% increase over the prior 4-year average. For January of 2024, we were an 18% increase. For multifamily housing units permitted, 141% increase. So 984 multifamily. That's pretty exciting. For January, we're at 96. And some things to note, it was the 4th best January on record. And some of the projects that are in for review right now that are going to add to this is we've got the Pros Apartments, which have 300 units. So these are in plan review right now. Nodo Normandy is 236 units. Radio Park Apartments is 153 units. And Cause on Fourth is 210 units. That's a lot of units that we're in review right now that are going to be coming online shortly. Single family dipped a little, so we're down 20% from the prior 4-year average. So that was last year's. For the month of January, again, we're down a little bit, but we see this picking up because we're going to have that code change in March. We've already heard from a couple of the bigger builders that we're going to get a big onslaught of permits that'll come in before that code change. And then when we do have a huge amount of permits that come in, we ask those builders to prioritize which houses do you want first. We can't do all 200 of them. And so we worked with a couple of the bigger builders last year, and they helped us prioritize, and they said, we want these streets first. And so we were able to get those out first and then continue to work down the list.
And that prioritization doesn't affect the ability to vest, correct? So they would still be in
No.
in advance?
Yeah, if your building permit was submitted and it was accepted and you had all the materials there, you're vested. The other thing that we do, because we don't want to, let's say Lennar turns in 100 building permits, and then you have average Joe turns in 1, we're not going to review Lennar's 100 and make him wait because he got in behind them. So we want to try and make sure there's equity there, and that's why we ask people like Lennar or Hayden Homes to prioritize.
And then just one more, if we go back on I guess you're still here, on the single family, even if you add potential BOCA to that, because theoretically those are taking place in single family, or what was previously single family, we're still not, I don't think, meeting previous numbers. So is there a
our
bigger,
single family has definitely gone down.
is there a bigger kind of issue there? Is it availability of lots, or is there some other factors?
We've had a lot of short plats. We had record number of short plats last year. It was up about 24%, I think. And so we're seeing a lot of these infill developments, but a lot of the larger plats are still working through that platting process. So we had a few large plats come on, let's see, 2022, there was a couple big ones that opened up. this last year, there's a lot of them that are either in the land use zoning hearing examiner process, or they're under construction building the infrastructure, so their final plats haven't been recorded yet to create those lots. So we're just kind of not hitting it at the right time.
Okay, right,
But it is slowing down.
yeah, okay.
So total residential units permitted for 2023. So you can see single family down a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. Duplexes up, multifamily way up. Change of uses were down. So we didn't see as many conversions of office or commercial to residential last year as we did the year before. So 2023, 1341. 56% increase. Another fact is that's the highest total on record back to 1995, which was when we can track back to. We've surpassed 1,000 units for 3 straight years in a row. This is a first. It was only 2 years before, and the historic average is about 719 per year.
Tammy, how much of the 984 was that one Magnesium Village?
Magnesium Village was around 500.
506?
I think, yeah.
So that's included in that 984?
It is, yeah. So, I mean, that was a big plus.
Yes.
So residential permits for the month of January, we have permitted 12. We've got about 68, I think, in plan review right now, so there's more coming. Duplex units, we haven't had any yet. Multifamily, 96 have gone out the door. Change of use, we've got 4. So this is what's in plan review right now. So for new single family, we've got 96 projects in. So some of those have started, some of those are in review, some of them haven't began to be reviewed yet.
No, I've asked Steve before, but if it'd be possible to break out Boca specific, because to encompass 3 or more within multifamily, I would rather see the Boca projects 2 to 4 in their own category, single family, and then multifamily above that.
Okay, I can do that. So duplexes and then multifamily. Like I had kind of said previously, we have a lot of multifamily in review right now that'll be coming on board shortly. And then future projects that are either have come in through MFTE or come in through pre-dev is another 2,700 units. So you'll see there's, I think, 10 MFTEs on consent for urban experience today. So they're still coming in strong. Here you'll see the 2023 year end for council districts.
I'm going to stop there, Tammy. Could you go back to that slide? I like the number in District 1. It is the highest valuation, so there is investment in that district, and we're glad to see it.
There is, yes.
And to go with that, the one project is an $80 million project, correct? The Magnesium Village?
I'd have to look, but yeah.
80 million, Steve?
Yeah,
Or- yes, yeah, okay,
81,467,000.
Do you want it?
Do I want it? Yeah, I'll take
yeah,
all
okay.
of them.
Just
Yeah,
making
come on
sure
up.
that it wasn't a
Yeah.
yeah. Exciting news.
Wait, you have another big one coming up, the Jubilant Line 4. That's a 90 million, so way to go, District 1. All right, here's just January. You can see pretty even numbers and valuations. And then here's your biggest projects. So there's Magnesium Village at the top. Then we have Iron Bridge Apartments, 162 units. McFarland out by the airport. Gonzaga Residence Hall, 53 units. Garden District Apartments, buildings 1 through 5. You won't see building 6 yet because that was just permitted this month. So 48 last year, 31 this year. Aero Center Base Operations, Millennium North Hill, 60 units. Patterson Complex, and then Spokane PMAC Edition. And VOA Crosswalk, 18 units. And then here's the valuations for January. So North Foothills Apartments, 36, Native Project, Cause on Fourth Phase 1. So that's just the podium and parking. And then the units will be, they're still in plan review. Garden District, that's Building 6, so 31 units. Great Northern Flat Apartments, 29 units. ALTCW, I'm not sure of the pronunciation of the next one.
All Q?
Yeah,
Oh, the one.
Broadway Foods, and then Holiday Inn, just a tenant improvement, but $1 million tenant improvement, so. Any questions on those? Okay, I'll take notes to break down Boca, and, you know, as we go, we're refining our data collection. We do have a new business analyst on board in the DSC, so he's helping with our tables and our projections and getting the data out of Acela, so that's really helping.
One more question would be, is there a way to break down, and maybe it's through trade permits, reinvestment or redevelopment of single family?
I mean, yeah, we have single-family remodels.
Because so if that would be, if there's a way to calculate that as just a number to show us, not monthly, but just periodically, I think it'd be just great to see kind of what sort of investments are going on just to bring up, you know, existing housing to a higher standard.
Oh, yep, made a note of that.
Is there any other type of information that council would look forward to in these reports? I know at our last executive committee meeting, we talked about if there's more information, so.
Yeah, or if there's a different way you want to see it, you know, we're open to making it more digestible for you or including things that aren't in here. Just feel free to reach out to me or to Steve, and we're happy to do that.
Right. Thanks, Tammy. Then we'll go on to the next one that is still used, which is adding the plan examiner to the DSC budget.
So I think you know why I'm here. We have record numbers of permits. And, you know, that's taking a toll. We haven't really added staff for quite a while. And I'm going to show you the next slide first. So you can see, here's our plan. This is just plan reviews. So not every permit that we tell you about has a plan review that's associated with it. So like trade permits, you know, don't always have a plan review, but single family, commercial, the ones that do require plan review. In 2018, we had 1,169. In 2023, we had 2,964. We've not added staff. We did some calculations of FTEs that were here. Some were doing part-time review. Some were, some retired out. Some we had to hire back after they retired so we could keep up with the projects that we had. So we have 2 levels of plan reviewers. We have a process coordinator that helps with those residential reviews, and then we have our building plans examiners that are fully certified in residential and commercial review and able to take on those bigger projects. So we've added staff enough to be about a 35% increase, but as you can see, plan review is 154% increase. So I'm gonna go back. There's a couple of points to that. We do have an increased workload. We want to make sure that our staff is able to keep up as well as provide better service. But there's a lot of things technically that they're looking at. We want to make sure that they're still doing a quality review and that we're not putting any life safety or any codes in jeopardy. You know, we want to maintain that high standard and make sure that our team is able to continue training. When we send them to training sessions, they're often worried we're going to get behind, we're not going to be able to keep up, puts the burden on the staff that's left behind. But we want to make sure that we're keeping our staff at the excellent level that they're at now. We want them to focus on areas of specialty, so if we're able to have more, then each one can take an area of specialty and really dig into that, get trained up. With all of the energy code changes, with the green building standards, there's a lot of things that take additional certification and additional resources that we're just not able to do right now. We are a enterprise fund, so we're not reliant on the general fund. We don't get any stipends back if we're not able to, so we are self-sufficient. And we're asking to use our unappropriated reserve, or fund balance, not reserve. We want to make sure that we're providing the best customer experience. So the more time we take, the more money it's costing our customers because they're not able to get out in the ground faster. So again, maintaining that level of commitment that we've already made and then working towards improvement. And we've talked to the mayor and administration about this as well. Cathcart?
Yeah, I guess one question would be, have we self-imposed any of this on ourselves since 2018, adding additional requirements on plan review? I know Boca probably has some, but I'm just trying to think if there's anything.
No, a lot of it is the code changes that are made at the state level.
Yep.
So the energy code gets stricter and stricter every year, and there are more requirements. The thing that's going to be very impactful this year is the WUI regulations,
Yeah.
so that wild urban interface. And so we're still trying to figure out exactly what that means, but that's going to add time to each of these reviews for the houses that are in those areas that have been designated by DNR.
So we obviously adopted the WUI code last year, 2 years ago. And is there any ability for us to recoup some dollars through additional fees on plats that are in the WUI designated areas?
I don't know that yet,
Okay.
but I know we're still having a lot of conversations about how we implement that
Yeah.
and how we're able to really understand what that means for those homes that are in those areas, and finding that balance of removing vegetation because the WUI says to, but keeping vegetation because we want to make sure we have an urban canopy
Yeah.
in Spokane. So we're still trying to figure that out. I know Dermot and Lance have been talking and they'll continue to be refining that.
And then is there, there was a proposal several years ago from a previous plan director that I really like and I would love to see us kind of pursue, and that is sort of this Gold Star program where if you've proven yourself, you can kind of speed ahead in your project. If there was something like that implemented, would that help alleviate some of this?
There definitely are consultants out there that we have a comfort level with. Implementing that program is great, but we don't have the resources to get to there yet. And so we still talk about it. And yes, I think it's still a place that we want to get to.
Okay, and that would help though if you could get to that point?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Engel?
Hey, so that's great. I'm supportive of this. I think that for a lot of reasons, it makes sense for us to help boost your team. As we are looking at apps for Solar App Plus, we know that that's going to help us expedite some things and relieve some of the burden off of your group. Are there other apps that we're exploring that aren't specific to solar, but to help us?
There's no other federal programs or apps that I'm aware of currently that do what Solar App Plus does, that provide that expedited review for a set criteria. But we're constantly looking and talking to other jurisdictions, but nothing that I'm aware of.
Okay. And do you only need one person, or do you need more people in your department?
We probably need more, but we need to see where we're at. We need to be fiscally responsible as well.
Sure. Well, I'd love to have a conversation with you on that another time. So.
We are still doing the fee study for the Development Services Center. We hope to have some of those numbers this summer, and I think that's where we have a bigger conversation to really know where we're going and what that means for the following year.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is item number 3, which is parking to people incentive update with Amanda Beck.
Good afternoon, Council. Just a quick update. So the Parking to People ordinance, which is the state pavement to people program, changing out underutilized parking into affordable housing. We've had 2 applications approved, Cause on Fourth, and then Link Lofts. And then we have 3 others that are either in the preliminary stages where we've asked DOR to take a look at them, or we've started asking more detailed questions and we're going back and forth, hoping to get some finalized information from them before we go through with our conditional and then the Department of Revenue approves. But we fully anticipate that this program will see a lot more activity as the year goes on. We've been doing our best to tell everyone that it's an option and it can be layered with the multifamily tax exemption or special valuation. So we hope to see more of this coming through this construction season. There are details on the city's economic development incentives webpage if you want to share information with someone you think hasn't learned about it. Otherwise, we are still the first city in the state to be implementing this, and so we are very much in some ways a guinea pig when it comes to helping the Department of Revenue figure out how they're implementing this and what it looks like. But we've had the city of Tacoma reach out to us to ask how we are kind of marketing and talking to developers about it and what our forms look like. So we've already started to see our benefit of being out ahead and helping some of the other cities in the state implement it.
Great.
Were there any questions?
Yeah, very exciting to hear. Any questions from council?
Just a quick comment. We were in Tacoma last week. One of their council members was showing us his district and talking about this opportunity as well. So we're excited to be out in the lead again.
Yes, Tacoma's the one city that has reached out to us to say, hey, what are you doing about this? I think they are maybe going to be the second city to implement besides us.
Perfect.
Yeah. I keep asking them why it's taking them so long, because you all went very fast and really appreciate it. I just had a question on the number of housing units. The 2 approved are, if you have that number, or how much it would be all 5.
So Cause is 210, and then Link Lofts, which is on 714 North Monroe, would be 21. Both of those also would layer with the multifamily tax exemption 12-year. The other 2 that were in discussions with Department of Revenue, one would potentially be for 105 and the other one is for 22. The Garland apartment, so the parking lot that's behind the Garland Theater, we haven't received an application on that, but because the Department of Revenue was in town to do site visits, we asked them to look at it while they were here. So that one potentially would be 44 units. They had a pre-dev recently, and so I'm sure they're still working out some of the details. But we're looking at a fair amount.
Yeah, that's great. And then did you have, so it sounds like most of the locations are downtown, or are they, I was like 1714 North Monroe is also.
Right now, I think part of it is just that people have to find the right parcels that fit within this. There's potential for us to do some of that legwork for them. We just haven't had the time yet because we're very busy in economic development.
Well, great. That's exciting. Any other things that you think we should know about the program, like ways to improve it, or anything that we can help champion across the state? You can also get back to us on that.
Yeah, let me get back to you on that.
No problem. Well, great. Well, thank you for that update. Very
Thanks.
exciting to hear. All right, item number 4 is a resolution supporting the American Aerospace Manufacturing Hub, and Spencer Gardner is going to do that.
Hello, Council. This is often referred to as the Tech Hub, so you may have heard something about that. This is a big priority of the mayor. It involves a consortium of, I think, roughly 50 organizations around the city, including Gonzaga, and relates to the creation of a center focused on manufacturing of next generation aerospace materials, essentially super light materials for airplanes and other aeronautical uses. So this is an outgrowth of a federal grant program that identified, Steve would know the number, I think it's 31 locations around the United States that were identified as candidates for this program, and we were one of them, the Spokane region. So this is the specific area that the consortium has identified is on the West Plains near the airport, but within the city of Spokane. And what we've brought forward is a resolution that council could adopt to indicate support for the Tech Hub proposal. There's a time frame here that we're working with. The application for the next round of the grant process is the end of this month. So we're gathering the resolution. We have the mayor's letter that is being drafted and finalized. We're also looking at other community partners to provide supportive materials as well. The goal here really is to create a manufacturing hub with high-quality living wage jobs that produce these high-tech materials. Basically, these are not low-wage service jobs. These are really the kind of manufacturing jobs that I think we want to see in our community, and the mayor sees this as a significant priority. So there's three aspects that the city has identified specifically to try to aid in the implementation of this tech hub. The first is a creation of a rapid response team. This would consist of cabinet level members who, when there's an application to build a new facility or to make improvements to an existing building, could get together and respond to any issues that arise during that process, the permitting process. The second is the creation of a special approval area, and this would apply to the area around the tech hub. Really, this is taking our existing permitting processes, and we had some questions about our permitting processes based on Tammy's presentation. We're trying to introduce some innovations to our permitting process to see if there are ways that we can speed things along. This is focused on the tech hub currently. I think some of the lessons that we learn from the tech hub may potentially benefit us in other areas of the city and other sectors of construction. But for now, this is really focused on the tech hub and trying to make sure that permits that come in related to the tech hub have access to the fastest process that we can provide. Often, these are manufacturers sinking significant dollars into a project, and the longer that timeline takes, the more that money costs them. And so we're trying to just find ways to speed that up. Excuse me. The last is the designation of a member of the planning department to act as a case manager in the Development Services Center for Tech Hub applications. And again, this is just a way to try to facilitate and move things through as quickly as possible. Again, this is an initiative that we feel could provide benefit outside of the Tech Hub. As we test it out with the Tech Hub, we may identify other types of projects where a case manager type role can be beneficial. So the Tech Hub, we think, not only benefits us in terms of the manufacturing capacity and the manufacturing jobs, but I think it helps us to start a conversation about how to improve our permitting process overall. I think you have the text of the resolution in your packet, so if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Yeah, I guess just maybe a couple questions. One, what has been the level of S3R3's engagement in this?
So we had a meeting with Chris Pengra, the executive director of S3R3. He is a member of the consortium. Lakeside Capital is, I think, kind of heading the team. But S3R3 has been involved at every step, and they're very, cued into what's going on.
Perfect. And then in terms of the resolution, I guess my thought would be all for it. I mean, it's great. We want the jobs. We want all of this happening in the region. But I would love to see it structured more as, yes, we endorse this, but also we are starting a pilot project specifically to pursue this expedited process that will then be expanded citywide. So I don't want this to be, maybe someday we'll talk about expanding it. I want it to be certain that this is a pilot. We're going to do this here because, frankly, we don't have this kind of response in the NEPDA. We don't have this kind of response elsewhere. And, with historic underinvestment in the Northeast Public Development Authority, it makes it really hard. We're behind the 8 ball at all times. And so this kind of thing would be really beneficial in the NEPDA. But I totally understand we're not at that point. And so having this piloted here with the eye of expanding it, I think would be really, really good. So
I'm happy to work with you on language to accomplish that. I can assure you that has certainly been a part of the conversation. How do we take this and then expand it to our other PDAs? We see this as a really good opportunity, and you're right, we do sort of have to start small, but we do totally plan to expand this.
So I'll just comment on S3R3. I serve on that board. We have committed significant funding and staff to be a part of this consortium going forward. So has the airport. S3R3 has been taking the lead in many of these spaces, coordinating funding, working with Gonzaga, helping to write the grant application going forward, and kind of being the center of the wheel at this point in time. So I'm glad the city is involved, because that had been a question, is what were we going to bring to the table? So I'm certainly excited to support the resolution. And yes, it is a start, and I agree, it needs to be all over our city. But right now, there's money that's coming in that I don't know if our districts could garner that type of financial support. So we'll support the growth where it's at, and then hopefully it'll grow from there.
If I could just, I think if the NEPDA had, fully paved roads and had all of this stuff, we would be in a very different situation, and we could pony up a lot more. So historic underinvestment is a big deal.
Yeah. Every neighborhood.
Other questions, comments? Great, well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the item number 5, commute trip reduction interlocal agreement renewal. And is that Colin and Della, or? No? Okay.
Good afternoon, Council President and Council members. My name is Della Mutunji from Planning, and today with me is Ms. Leanne Yamamoto, the Transportation Demand Manager at Spokane County. Today we'll be talking about the commute trip reduction program and the agreement between the city and the county. We are mandated by the state to implement a commute trip reduction program, and the goal is to reduce vehicle miles traveled by commuting employees. So every 2 years, we receive an allocation of funding from the county, and historically we've signed an agreement granting these funds back to the county in exchange for their performing of the required CTR actions. For this period between 2023 and 2025, we would be receiving $357,253. And today, the county is proposing an updated agreement to extend this arrangement for another 2 years. So Ms. Leanne will give us an overview of the CTR law and the benefits of the program in the county.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here today. So as she mentioned, I'll just go through, kind of give you an overview of the Commute Smart Northwest program, which includes implementing the CTR law, in addition to talking to you about the intergovernmental agreement as well. So Commute Smart Northwest implements the Washington State Commute Trip Reduction Law in Spokane County. It was passed in 1991 and implemented in 1993 as part of the Washington State's Clean Air Act, and then it was also updated in 2006 as well. So who's affected by the CTR law? Counties with urban growth areas such as Spokane County are affected. And then within those counties, employers with over 100 employees that start their day between 6 and 9 a.m. and work at least 35 hours a week are also affected by the law. Applies to all public and private employers, and also applies to the local jurisdictions that are affected by the law as well. And so with that, we do have 7 jurisdictions in Spokane County that are affected by the law. And again, Spokane County implements this as a regional program for all 7 of those jurisdictions. And as you can tell, we have 96 employers in the program. Spokane has the most with 53, and then you can also see how many we have in the other jurisdictions as well. So the requirements of administering the CTR law, we administer CTR surveys every 2 years with all of our work sites to see their progress and monitor their progress, and then talk to them about improvements of their program. And then we review their employer CTR programs, which come in annually. We also provide ETC training. We have turnover with all of the employers, so we actually have a coordinator at every work site, so we train them with that as well. We also provide work site support, meet with new ETCs and management to talk about their program, to see what's working, what's not working, and how we can make improvements so that they can be successful. Assist also newly affected work sites when we have them come on board, such as Amazon that recently came on. And then in 2024 and 25, we will be updating the CTR plan, which is in accordance with the CTR ordinance. ordinance. So we'll be updating the CTR goals for all of the employers as well with that. So I'll be contacting the city to work on that in the future. So just to give you an idea, the jurisdiction and employer goals for our employers is a 6% percentage point increase in non-drive alone rate from their baseline, and then a 13% reduction in vehicle miles traveled. And again, with that CTR plan being updated, we'll reevaluate those plans and the goals and get those updated as well. So we do have the regional program benefits. It's modeled for public and private partnerships. We work closely with those 96 work sites, plus we have voluntary work sites that we work with as well. It's a low-cost congestion management tool, reduces parking constraints, adds foot traffic for businesses, especially in the downtown area, and then also, of course, reduces air pollution as well. So the intergovernmental agreement that is here for you today is between Spokane County and the City of Spokane. It is a 2-year program from July 2023 to June 2025. The state CTR funding is $647,000 for Spokane County to implement it as a regional program, and Spokane's allocation is the $357,253. And again, you guys have 53 work sites. So just to give you an overview of the impact the regional program has, each day we remove over 8,300 trips off our roadways, over 141,000 miles from being driven on our roads. That's 5.7 trips around the world, so pretty significant. That's daily as well. Per year, we remove over 2.1 million trips and over 36.6 million miles from being driven on our roadways too. So it's very impactful for the entire community in Spokane County. And so with that, does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Obviously, any way we can reduce congestion is a good thing. Wondering if there's a way to calculate, using those numbers or some version of those, the actual maybe cost implications on our roads, the reduction in road maintenance, things like that, as well as maybe commute times, how it affects people's ability to get to and from where they're going quicker because we have less congestion on the roads. And then my last maybe question is, I saw on there about Amazon, and you said that we survey to measure some of this. Do we do any other ways of measuring real impacts? Because I know there's a significant number of folks that work at Amazon that commute from Northeast Spokane, and I assume you could look at traffic data for I-90 and things like that. And do we do any of that measurable, or is it all survey driven?
It's mostly survey driven. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources on our staff to look at that a little bit further. However, the survey results do give us a lot of information. We can see the area codes and how far they travel and things like that, and how many miles are reduced from those certain work sites. We can also look at mode share as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be great. I mean, I think if in terms of just encouraging more people to do these kinds of things, if we can put it into terms, mostly financial, that really they can see and understand, I think that would help all of us to help push this more. So.
Yes, thank you. Yes, very much so. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I can't believe that it's been around for over 30 years now, and it was an honor to help present awards last week and accept on behalf of the city. I'm curious, as someone who rides the bus every day, are elected officials eligible for part of the program, or?
Yes, they are. Actually, they are very much so. And I would like to mention, too, which I forgot to mention, we do have 2 grants that we're running right now. One is a regional mobility grant, which is based more for incentives to really encourage people to use commute options. So thank you for riding the bus. So we're giving away lots of incentives to help encourage that and change behavior as well. And then we also have another grant that we're working on right now over in the West Plains, but we have one that we're going to be starting in the next 6 months or so, which is actually in downtown, trying to get smaller businesses to join our program as well. But yes, you are eligible.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Paul kind of led into my question. Do you know yet, or can you tell us about any of the bigger prizes and contests that are happening this year? I always enjoy those.
Right. So we do have monthly promotions. As I said, our program is a lot more robust. So we have monthly campaigns, and we have quarterly prizes where we're giving away $1,500 to one winner, and then we give away 3 $500 winners as well. So have some great incentives for really encouraging that behavior.
Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you for that update. It's very exciting to hear all that work and to see the impacts that's having. So thank
Great.
you.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, item number 7, skipped over number 6, which is the interim zoning ordinance concerning the definition of public parking. And Chris, you're going to do that one?
I am, or Paul, Councilmember Dillon.
Yeah,
I can do it if you like.
Do you want to kick us off and then hand it to me?
Sure.
Yeah.
This is an interim ordinance intended to correct a oversight in the municipal code at the moment, which refers to public parking lots in centers and corridors, but doesn't define what a public parking lot is. Because of that oversight, our planning director, Spencer, issued an administrative determination with the definition of a public parking lot. What this does is codify his administrative determination until such time as we can have a proper study and work done on the code and define how public parking lots, and for that matter, commercial parking lots, are going to be governed in centers and corridors. It's designated as an emergency ordinance. I think there's still some discussion about whether to keep it as an emergency ordinance, but we've done interim ordinances on an emergency basis several times, even in my 1-year tenure here. So it's not unusual, but that's how it's structured now. That may change.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead. Thank you. That was a great explanation. And as you mentioned, we already had the administrative zoning determination issued on February 1st relating to the term public parking lot. I do think this does merit an emergency. Again, we talked about this around the 29th Avenue pedestrian designation, but with the increase in pedestrians getting hit by cars, really trying to plug this hole, I think it really is important. And because the administrative zoning determination does use this definition, we're not changing the current administration of the code, just providing clarity. And this again, using the emergency mechanism helps provide the needed clarity for staff and the public. While this interim zoning ordinance is in place, we'll be going through Planning Commission, sitting staff, and I think it's set to expire in August. Is that correct?
August the 5th.
Yeah.
We'll have a hearing in 2 months, of course, to comply with state law.
Councilmember Pingle.
I guess, so my question is, and I disagree with the emergency on 29th, but what is the emergency?
The emergency is to prevent misapplication of the code because of a lack of clarity. Right now we have an administrative zoning determination, but it would be better if it was in the code. So the determination could be appealed. So
So what is the emergency?
the emergency is to give guidance to staff on a short-term basis, while long-term they figure out how they want this language to read.
Got Spencer here too to help answer.
Well, one more question would be, how does this affect pedestrian fatalities? I'm really not understanding the intersection between the two.
That I can't answer that. I'm not a planning person.
I can't help. Yeah, I think that we see again with a lot of larger lots, increased congestion, busier traffic. There's certainly been a lot of studies done around the impact on large lots with pedestrian access and safety.
And so this limits the size that a parking lot can be?
I think it actually governs when a commercial parking lot versus a public parking lot can exist in a center and corridor area.
But I guess
I don't know if it has any effect on the size. I know it has effect on whether a particular parcel has that use available to it.
And I guess my question would be, what's the difference in terms of how it intersects with pedestrian fatalities, whether it's a commercial lot, public lot, what's the difference?
And I don't have an answer for that right now. But we can follow up with planning.
And I do think we need an exec session to talk about this based on the legal analysis we got. It still sounds like we're not following proper order, so.
Spencer, did you want to jump in on any of that? Or?
Well, I guess I don't have a whole lot to add. I think there is, in the comprehensive plan, there's a lot of language about centers and corridors being pedestrian-oriented and really focusing on creating a safe environment for people walking. There is a connection between the amount of cars out on the road and safety for people who are walking. And so in the short term, I'm not sure that there's a direct connection between one individual parking lot and an increased risk in people walking. But in terms of, over the lifetime of a parking lot that could be approved, there is an enhanced risk. And so I guess that speaks maybe to the emergency need here. The other aspect is just, there's really, and if you read the zoning determination, this is pretty clear, there is a gap in our code, and the zoning determination essentially requests that council weigh in on how to define the public parking lot, because without that definition, we're working off of a lot of gray area in the code that's unclear for me as the director and is unclear for the public as they're trying to interact with our code. So,
Yeah, and 30 days is enough to where we can't put it off 30 days for it to take effect.
I mean, that would be ultimately a decision for council.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, is because when does an emergency ordinance have guidelines for this is what constitutes an emergency for us?
No, that has been a frustration.
And so that's my point, is what this council historically has decided is an emergency is anytime there's 5 votes and we want it to happen now, which I think is a poor precedent for us as a council to be doing. So what I would suggest is, now that this has been brought up, because we have talked about emergency ordinances and what constitutes an emergency, I think that this is a good segue into us as a council defining what are the guidelines for an emergency ordinance, because again, an emergency to me seems as if, oh my goodness, there's a fire, we need to get this done now, versus, we just want it to go into effect faster, because there's also ways that emergency ordinances cannot be challenged by the public, which is a big deal. And so the ability for us to define what an emergency ordinance is, I think, is a big deal. That's not to say I disagree with what we're doing here. It's to say that I am increasingly frustrated by the fact that we continue to use emergency ordinances on things that are not what I or the public would consider an emergency.
Thank you for that. I would
Council President, if I may?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I will say that in my time here, as I mentioned earlier, we've had several zoning related ordinances that were adopted as emergencies. Interim housing, tract shelter was one to allow that to occur in an industrial use. Even your off-street parking requirement last summer had emergency language in it, although it ultimately was not adopted as an emergency. So there's plenty of precedent, just in my 1-year time here, to adopt these kind of interim ordinances on an emergency basis so that you have clarification instantly, and then you have time to work on the problem.
I would just say that sounds like a resolution for you to work on a guidance for council to adopt on emergency ordinances, but I think that's a different conversation. Yeah.
I think it might be an interesting topic for a council retreat too, when we're all in the same room.
I mean,
to
it does
be
affect the
fair,
legislation that we're doing moving forward, so, yeah.
It's a bigger
We had a lot of
It is
emergencies
a
last year.
conversation. We had too many emergencies last year, and that's the point, so, yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. All right, going up to item number 7, extreme weather response update. And Don is here. Okay. Didn't see you in the back.
Hello, Council. So just wanted to give some updates on the kind of the emergency warming beds that we did under the declaration, as well as some of the ongoing contracts that are coming through as well. So the surge bed contracts were all executed prior to the expiration of the declaration of emergency. Those are underway. Agencies are submitting their first invoices this month for those expenses in January, and that includes both Jules Helping Hands for the church bed program, the compassionate addiction treatment provider, and Salvation Army, who we added some beds to during that initial very cold 10, 11-day window. ongoing, we've got Jules Helping Hands still monitoring and running their church-based program with 80 beds between those 4 locations. 2 of those churches are running at 24-hour windows, and then the other 2 are operating at 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., give or take, 12-hour windows overnight. Canon is continuing to operate under compassionate addiction treatment. We've got their contract set to do 60 beds based on what we were seeing with their utilization at the beginning of January. But we do have in there a contractual opportunity for the city to direct them to surge up to 80 beds should we see that need come into play. So those contracts are coming through as well, those extensions. Overall, I'd like to not repeat the pace at which we had to accomplish things this year and have a plan going into next winter long in advance of the first cold snap. But given the circumstances we were in, things went pretty smoothly. I will say that one thing that's come out of that's been really productive is we've got Hallie and Julie and Salvation Army at times directly communicating about how many folks they're seeing at their shelter that they don't have space for, and then coordinating transportation to open beds at other locations. So Julie Garcia and Hallie Birchnell in particular have really been communicating about, hey, Knox has 8 open beds available, and Hallie can help 8 people then it can and transition to those beds to make space available where we've got that playing out. So that's been almost nightly. There's been some communication between those providers about open beds, where they are, and how to move folks. And for me, that's really exciting because I think historically that kind of transportation and coordination on a night-to-night basis was not happening. So we were seeing some shelters at overcapacity and others at undercapacity, which is not an efficient use of resources. The Cannon Street shelter, and the church beds are funded through February 29th, with the intent of that getting us through the coldest part of the year. Which so far seems to be tracking. The other thing that I would say that we're doing alongside of this, and we'll start having more conversations with council, but we've been looking more at the existing track operations budget and trying to really get our hands around what is that, what's happening there, how can we get some better control on spending and utilization of that program, as well as we try and look at the long-range plans for sheltering in Spokane. So all that said, it's going well so far, but I'm happy to answer questions, of course.
Yeah, so I guess sort of related, but an aside, what are we doing to fix things at Second and Division? It is more out of control than I have ever seen it, and it is bad. And it's related specifically to one of the contract providers that we're going to potentially extend. I see in here, I mean, they're right at that location, and so when I drive by, it's not good. And Cannon, by the way, is also in a pretty bad state outside. There's some camping, there's trash. It's not being maintained.
We've got challenges, I think, in many locations with those issues. I will say that we had a meeting, the mayor's office and some staff met with Catholic Charities last week to kind of re-engage in conversations about Second and Division that I know some council members were part of last summer, and had some good initial discussions with them about ways to kind of leverage resources that they're already spending in that neighborhood, and different ways that the city can kind of step up to the plate and do some additional support. So Maggie Yates was there. She had some great suggestions from a public safety perspective, and we're going to continue in those conversations with them. I think one of the big challenges we're certainly seeing is, that the behind Starbucks space is just not secured, and so we've got very little opportunity to deter people from being in that space. We have some opportunities, I think, to partner better with SPD or with the business operators to try and curtail some of that. NAI Black has stopped attending meetings with those providers to try and generate some solutions. We can certainly re-engage them in the conversation. They're the manager of that what was the Starbucks miniature strip mall right there. I think, the agencies are asking for more law enforcement engagement to address the drug dealing and open air drug use that they're seeing in that neighborhood. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to direct SPD, but they are coming to the table and having some productive conversations with us. If I had a solution, I'd give it to you, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can't direct SPD, but the administration certainly can, and there's a lot that's happening in the public rights of way that I've seen firsthand. I try to go by there as frequently as I can, and there's just a ton there. If we just dedicated some resources like we had, and I know those resources have been pulled off in large part, but if we put them back and really started to enforce the laws and the rules that we have, I think we'd see a big difference.
I agree with you. And at this point, we're having some weekly conversations with myself and Captain Lundgren and Maggie Yates to try and figure out how we do better partner internally to deploy resources to those impacted neighborhoods. SPD has been very willing to engage in that conversation. They had some significant response middle of last week in the neighborhood that did see a day or two of impact. So I think we're headed in the right direction. It's just going to take us some time to kind of get our hands around it. We've been working closely with Luis Garcia's Space 2. There used to be a process where homeless outreach responded to encampment notifications prior to code enforcement coming in. That was very helpful in trying to encourage people to find a new location or move indoors to a shelter. For various reasons during COVID, that system kind of stopped coordinating. But I had a great meeting with Luis and Jason and some of our CHHS staff last week to talk about getting that mechanism back into place, that we've got homeless outreach going with code enforcement and SPD in advance of a clearing, that I think we'll see some positive impact from that too. In partnering all of that along with the public safety, I think we've just got to attack it from every angle.
And Cannon, how are we cleaning that up?
We got other questions too, so I'm going to take turns.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I can follow up with you.
Councilman.
So I have a couple. One is just a minor clerical thing, but I've seen in the contracts February 29th on some of them and March 1st on some of the others, and so didn't know if we were picking February 29th or March 1st.
That is probably, we can clean that up. The intent is that February 29th is the last night of sleeping, but that there would be some costs incurred in some locations on March 1st as they're exiting Cannon, whereas some of the other locations are not the church program, Julie, continues to operate without city funding.
Right.
So.
The other question was, in that 10-day period, I saw where some of the funding was like $1,000, per night, and then I've seen that since in that 30-day period, that extended 38, 39-day period, whatever it is, that those costs are well into the 4,000s now per night, and so I just didn't understand
Per bed cost?
Yeah, not per bed, but like per night for them to operate one of those facilities.
Oh.
So not per bed, but. I mean, that 10-day period was the hardest, and so I would have imagined that would be more expensive, but it's almost tripled in that next period, so I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah, part of that is that in that 10-day window, the city held the security contract at Cannon on our own, so those costs are not reflected in the compassionate addiction treatment contract.
Okay.
In this 30-day extension, we've passed that responsibility on to CAT to contract for their own security. That's part of it. The other piece is that there were substantial changes in the facilities needs at Cannon Street based on a longer term of operating, which included they had no on-site laundry services, so they needed to purchase a washer dryer to be able to launder sheets daily so that people coming in had clean sheets to mitigate public health concerns. So that was some of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Council President.
I'll just say, Don, I think one of the issues that's visible is the trash, and I've talked to our department about that, because there are no dumpsters down there, and I know Compassionate Addiction, their dumpster gets everybody's trash, and it's like filled up in one day, and then people just throw it on the street. So if there's any additional support in that area, not only at Second Division, but the Cannon also.
Yeah, and I can follow up with Marlene. We had talked at one point about putting a larger dumpster on site, and so I can circle back with her and see if there's space now, not space literally, but capacity to do that. Yeah. But they do. Everybody's trash ends up in there.
Right, which is not their issue. It's their issue, but it's not their issue because you can't control somebody walking by
and dumping
dumping their trash on their front door.
I will say part of it too, and it gets a little bit to your question, Councilmember Cathcart, is that Cannon's operating 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So there are all of the daytime hours. They're not an open location, but people are still spending time outside right there, which is where Luis Garcia's team has been pretty responsive in trying to help. But we can certainly look at additional ways to kind of mitigate that trash that builds up during the day and asking CAT to help clean that up prior to opening that evening.
All right, any other questions?
Just more of a kind of comment, I guess. I think the response, again, just coming out of our cold snap was really nimble and impressive. And I do hope that, and with some of the concerns around Second and Division, I think it does underscore, the need to fund and support this more street medicine model, where we have seen that be really effective. I know there's asks of the state legislature right now, but hopefully that is something that we can implement, because we have seen the positive impacts on that, and it does free up a lot of law enforcement capacity.
Yeah, strongly support that sentiment. I know Chaz has an ask in this session to expand their street medicine team. They're our best response in those situations. And they're a very limited team right now with the hours that they're available with the funding they have. So any way to help support the behavioral health system would mitigate some of this for sure.
Yeah, I would love to just get a better description of exactly what the street medicine folks do. I guess I really don't maybe have an understanding of how that alleviates camping and some of those things. So if we could maybe have a study session or something to talk about that, that'd be
Absolutely. And I'd be happy to have Shelby Lambden from Chaz, who runs their equity work, including their street medicine team, come, because they do, they've got complete doctors and nurses on that team who are able to do a lot of medication support. And most of what we're seeing in that camping, loitering space is untreated mental health. So it's not an instant response, right? But it is a long-term solution to helping ensure that people are having access to the medicines they need to stay safe and healthy and make different choices. And Shelby can explain it far better than I can, but I'd be happy to have her come. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. All right, item number 8 is the home funding for Liberty Park Terrace expansion project with Heather Page. And just so council members know, we'll also move into the reports and updates, which is looking at council members to give those reports and updates. So we haven't done that yet, but just want to get you prepared for that. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Council. So this has been a multi-phase affordable housing development project that the initial home funding was initially allocated conditionally in 2020. They got hit with a series of COVID-related delays, shutdowns, slowdowns, cost increases. They came back to us for additional home funding in 2022. CHHS board voted to approve that additional home funding. It's, the perseverance of this developer consultant is amazing because pretty much every funding agency has had delays in getting the funding to them at some point. They are within 2 months finally of closing this deal and starting construction. We need to get our final contracts through the system, through your approval process, and that's what we're presenting today is the nearly final contracts. Now, legal in a real estate deal, they continue to make small word changes, grammatical changes in contracts clear up until about 2 to 3 weeks before final signatures. So we're presenting to you as final documents as we can at this point in time, considering that the closing is around the 11th of March. It's a $1.1 million city home loan. It is a deferred loan with forgiveness available if they agree to an extra 10 years of affordability. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, so the next part of the agenda, skipping the consent agenda items, is for reports and updates. This had come up from discussion on the new kind of committee structure, is trying to get more information to all of council. Since we're sitting on lots of boards and commissions, we often don't have the opportunity to talk about those updates from what those groups are working on. Nicolette was going to also brief us on what she's up to, so we have council staff that's assigned to each committee too, but unfortunately she had to go home early today. We'll catch her next month. So I was just going to go down, and these are placeholders. If there's no update, there's no update, but if there's an update, we'd love to hear some of that. So Nicolette was going to talk about the Housing Action Subcommittee. I don't know if there's any council member on that had anything to talk about. I know that they had updated their bylaws and got their operations in order. That's the update I know. Neighborhood Council Work Group, I don't believe that group has met. CHHS Board.
I was there, basically introduced myself. Not too much to add. I was sick last week, so I'm just kind of stopped in. Yeah.
Community Assembly.
Met with the executive team of Community Assembly, and we are working on a process. If you start to see, we've seen more resolutions coming from neighborhood councils, and they come to us, and we don't have quite a process of how to engage that resolution from our neighborhoods. So we're working with Mr. Wright, Jacoby, myself, and that committee to come up with what do we do with those resolutions when they come to council advocating for or against something in their neighborhood or in support of another neighborhood. So we'll be meeting again, have more to come.
Mr. Chair, we, just good time to flag that we're going to have a joint meeting with the CA at the end of this month, Thursday, February 29th. Still working on the location for that meeting.
Any questions for Council President about the CA? That sounds like important work, so appreciate that. Number 5, Comp Plan Docketing Committee. Councilmember Klitsky, do you want to speak to that?
So there will be 6 comp plan amendments eventually coming forward when they go, after they're finished with their process. The docketing committee, their purpose is just to make sure that they're applicable and that they've met all of the requirements. And then to also consider potential staff recommended expansions to those updates. And we did look at the expansions and they did seem to make sense. So you'll be seeing those as well, but not a whole lot of super controversial stuff going on there.
And then I did just see an email from them requesting, so this is a question for all of council, they would like to bring it up as early as possible since it's a prolonged process, but the earliest that they could get on a committee or study session would be for later in March. And so they were wondering if it'd be fine if they just brought it forward for a first briefing at a 3:30 briefing session instead of to committee and then on. I think that's fine. I just want to check with the rest of council. Seems reasonable to me. All right. Any questions about the comprehensive plan docketing committee? Human Rights Commission.
Yeah, we discussed Black History Month. We had a presentation from Curtis Robinson on Spokane Black leaders, some past and present, and then we also discussed the new ordinance that just passed regarding the process for removal of offensive markers and next steps.
Great. Thank you for that. Any questions for Councilmember Dillon? All right, next is Plan Commission. So Councilmember Klitsky.
I don't really have much to report from Plan Commission. I mean, they've had their hearings that we've already seen the results of, and then we pretty much had informational presentations last week.
Any questions about Plan Commission? No? All right, next we'll go to Downtown Bid Board and DSP together. I think that's Councilmember Cathcart.
Nothing update.
Any initiatives that they're working on, or
nothing that I have at this time.
Okay. Any questions for Councilmember Cathcart? All right. Next is the GMA Steering Committee.
That was a very informational meeting as well. They're just getting started looking at the comprehensive plan update. So it was a very, what is the word I'm trying to think of? I don't know, preliminary type of discussion.
I think the biggest thing was we adopted the mid-range population growth estimate, and probably the biggest decisions will be coming in the third quarter.
Okay. Any questions? All right, Library Board.
I haven't been to a meeting yet, but vote.
Oh, I was at Library Board. I can go. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just be really brief. Went over the landmark for the over 1 million visitors in 2023. Yeah, that was it.
Any questions? Park Board, looked like Councilmember Bingle just left. Priority Spokane, I think.
Yeah, we didn't have a board meeting, but met one-on-one with former council member Ulrich and discuss some of the top of the list for Priority Spokane, which is really exciting, including an expansion of behavioral health, mental health task force for public safety, what that would look like to expand services in Spokane County with police and fire.
Any questions? Regional Homeless Authority? I don't think that there have been any formal discussions and that they're waiting for new administration to settle in and to re-engage those conversations. Spokane Arts?
Didn't meet, but I'm very excited. We had a presentation at the Manitou Cannon Neighborhood Council meeting about their new street art outside the Scoop on 25th and Monroe, which they selected Chris Bovey. So I'm really excited to see that move forward. That's going to be a wonderful addition to the neighborhood.
Councilmember Dillon, have they had any more discussion about the new executive director for the Spokane Arts?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
Chair Zapone, and I also just got an email from Spokane Arts today. They're going to reinstate the poetry at the podium, so they're scheduling those dates with me now.
And I was I was excited to see the proposal coming from the mayor's transition team about bringing a liaison role back into the city. I think that is a voice that we're missing here, so I'll be excited to work with them on that. Nicola's gone, and I don't think we actually mentioned Eric, that he was also on here.
Well, Eric, spoke to him about intergovernmental affairs, talked to him about a presentation today. The session will be over in less than a month, so he's going to just give us a total recap. The big news is we've had some wins and we had some losses. So we'll have the final report in about a month.
Yeah, and I would say on this relay note, Council President and I were both in Olympia this week at AWC Action Days, so we can give a little update there. One of the big issues on the traffic safety cameras is that the proposal of the House was moving, but it was potentially going to have some clawbacks later for the state that would take back the money, and we were trying to keep that money locally. There was another issue on that, on the traffic cameras too.
Traffic cam money would be used for, from the city of Kent for public safety cameras, body cameras.
For body cameras. And so that was an issue in the House. Not all members were okay with the use of it being used for body cameras.
Policing.
For policing. And there's just concern that it's creating a stable revenue or a new revenue source for the state or for cities, and that they didn't really want it to become a new revenue source, but to really address the issues of traffic. And there were concerns from some lawmakers about it being used for other things other than capital. And so there's a lot of potential amendments, but those hadn't been included yet. But there was a potential amendment that would require it to be used for capital projects. Any other AWC? That was a big one that we talked a lot about. Any of the capital projects, our capital asks?
Money for the Northeast is going through, potential additional monies for our homeless outreach programs from our Representative Riccelli, so we got that asking, hoping that will be successful. That's it.
Yeah. That is our first attempt of trying these updates. We'll see how we like it. We can always adjust, but I think it was helpful to hear what everyone's working on, because oftentimes we don't catch each other enough to know what's going on. So appreciate it. All right, that adjourns today's meeting. The next meeting will be March 11th. Thank you very much.
Thank you.